Anyway, yes.
So, right, flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda, please.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Do you hear a second?
A second.
Made a motion from Eric, second by Jamie. Accept the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mike asked to be excused because he was exposed to COVID last night. 3 members turned positive and he's going home to check himself to see if he's positive. So he will not be here tonight.
We have our, no, they're not here, okay.
I'll read the reports.
Mayor, do you know who mowed the lawn? Was it him or was it our new park host in preparation for the blues festival?
I think both. Mike did some and he finished up.
Great. I'm assuming the park hosts things that have gotten accomplished are going to roll up into his.
I think so.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, in Public Works, the Locksville Park restrooms have been picked up, but they still need to be installed. We assisted with getting things set up for the Mount St. Helens Bluegrass Festival at the park. We mowed the park and throughout town, replaced a 30-minute parking sign near City Hall. Filled potholes throughout town with patchwork. We pulled the waste pumps to clean and service them. Took samples in for solids so they could be hauled off for the fire mountain. Took water samples in for herbicide and disinfection by produce or products. Conducted a meter read test to make sure the meters were reading as they should. All went well. Met with Northwest Green Homes where they will be placing a new mobile home on SR 505 near the high school for their water hookups. Met with KR Homes for their water and sewer hookups on Silver Street. John was at training on the 4th and off on the 10th. That's a report from Mike. If you have any questions, I can't answer them because Mike's not here.
I did have one, and you might know, was Mike in any training?
Pardon me?
Was Mike in any training?
Was Mike in any training?
Yeah.
I think at the end of this month.
Okay,
He goes to training, him and John both.
Okay.
As far as I know.
thank you.
Okay, that's all I got for the Public Works. From the clerk's office department, we got building permit services with Winlock. Nothing new to report.
Except that there is a meeting tomorrow with Winlock.
With Winlock on this service report.
On permitting services. Yes.
Building permits. Okay. Water and sewer lines, Toledo Vader, nothing new to report. Planning, Couch Meadows. Todd sent the applicants a determination of completeness on August 5th. Meeting to discuss roads and schools was held on Friday, the 11th. Annexation. Spoke with Windsor Engineering on August 10th. They will be submitting this week. And also from the clerk department, I've been working on the police chief posting and the interim police chief agreement trying to catch up from vacation. I am on vacation this week as well. Attached are notes from my check and call with Todd Johnson, the planner. Any questions for the clerk? I can't answer that one either.
Something we should probably talk about moving forward is how we adjust our process so we don't consume so much of the planner's time that is not tied to a specific build project, because the fees are adding up quickly. So I'm not sure what that is, but I think we have some ideas, and I think it's more of us getting our committee and ourselves to do more of the work, and then use Todd as a safety check, kind of like we do with the lawyer with the MRSC, rather than letting him shepherd each of our ordinance changes as we update things all the way through. The good news is we have an example, since he's just done 3 ordinances with us.
Okay, the treasurer's report is expenditures and revenue reports through July 31st are in the packets. We celebrated Randy's retirement last week and had a great turnout. Met with the ARPA committee on 8/4. We are working on getting a meeting set up with Toledo Tel for the internet options and life cycle reports for the city hall computers. Any questions for the treasurer? She is here.
I was actually kind of puzzled why the treasurer is handling the internet and computers as opposed to the clerk. Is there?
I think the meeting was to discuss how to spend the funds, and so she's as the keeper of the funds. Is that right, Jill? Or
I will. Okay. That's wonderful. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
The treasurer?
How many people came to, I came at the very end of Randy's party, I'm sorry. I thought I couldn't be at the beginning. How many people ended up coming? Yeah, I saw all the cool stuff that you have laid out there for him. It's really very well attended, all the cars that I saw and.
Any other questions for the treasurer? Okay, moving on, utility billing clerk / clerk assistant. Starred something. Started the next wellness challenge, 30-minute activity challenge for the employees. Helped with Randy's retirement, set up 2 AWC anti-harassment classes for employees and committees groups. I mailed out walk in the park sponsor letters and set up online registrations. We have received 4 sponsor donations so far for that event. Friday, August 12th, had a meeting with Windsor, GNO, TRJ Planning, and Eric to go over the Cowles Meadow project. Tuesday, August 16th, have a meeting with Robert Webster from Winlock to go over the permitting. Any questions for her?
Yes. When you set up our trainings, were those linked to our Toledo Tel email accounts, or how exactly are they set up so that you can track who's taking them?
Yeah, you'll want to go in under your city council, your new email address, and be like you're going in to set up new. So use that email, and that 2 classes will be in there. So you'll have to create a password, but use your city council new email address.
Well, I used my Gmail.
that won't work.
That Cindy set up, and I did create a new account, so I'm
At-
with the first one. but
At the Toledo law.us
No,
email. Okay.
no, I did the Gmail.
That is your Toledo it's just the Gmail app.
Okay, well, when I set it up and accessed my dashboard, nothing is in my dashboard. So I just did a search for anti-harassment, and I've done the first one. I'm still have to take the test yet.
Doesn't it send you a notification? Does
Yeah,
it when
yes.
everybody's done?
Okay. That was.
There's a lot of other good things on the MRSC site as well, that you
Right.
can both sign up for and take
Right? I saw that.
once you get in there. Looks like you're gonna have to do that first one again with the right email address.
I don't think so.
See, I only know that's funny because I'm right where you are.
Okay, public hearing, there's none, special presentation, public comments on agenda items. Signed up for that, you must sign up prior to starting the meeting. Is there any signups? Thank you. Nancy Schmidt. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Nancy Schmidt and I reside in Chehalis. I am a board member of the Toledo Food Bank and I'm here tonight to represent the food bank. First of all, I would like to ask, who are you communicating with? As you stated in your last meeting that we were unresponsive. And the last communications we are aware of with the city was our meeting back in March, I believe. And it seemed that everything was going well. Things were cleaning up. And you were going to look into hiring an electrician to change the wiring in the back so that we could install walk-in freezers and get rid of all of those chest freezers and upright freezers. So as far as I know, that's the last communication that we've had with the city. And I feel that the place has cleaned up tremendously in the past, well, since the beginning of the year. We work hard over there. We work very hard. And we are servicing more people each month. And I just think that, I don't know, we just need a better way to communicate. So
That's fine.
Nancy, to confirm, we do have you on the agenda under unfinished business with the food bank. So we'll bring it up again. If you don't mind, we can move on with the rest of the meeting and get back to that. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, is there anything else? That's all I got on that was a food bank one. New business. Planning Commission vacancy recommendation is Tom Hill. Motions?
Oh, I make the motion that we accept the recommendation for Tom Hill for planning commission vacancy.
I will second that recommendation.
It's been moved. Did you get and seconded? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The second part of this is for Tom, Planning Commission oath of office, Tom Hill, if I can find it.
I think you'll have what you need.
Thank you. Tom, if you want to come up. Right here is fine. Raise your right hand. We got a speaker microphone right there. You want to turn that way so you kind of see the camera a little bit? There we go. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I say your name, you say, well, you say your name, okay? That's a good one. I, Tom Hill, do solemnly swear
I, Tom Hill, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the state of Washington
and the state of Washington
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially perform
and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of position
and discharge the duties of the position
of planning commissioner
of planning commissioner
for the city of Toledo,
for the city of Toledo,
Lewis County, Washington.
Lewis County, Washington.
Thank you, sir. You want me to sign this one? Sign that one, okay. Okay, number 3, Lewis County IT Service VPN Agreement 2023 Annual Agreement. Open for a motion.
Jill, what is that?
That is the agreement we have with Lewis County's the annual agreement that we have to have for this building. It's the secure network that the police department uses to access all their database. And then if they have trouble with it, they take it up there and
Okay, so that's something that's in the PD budget. We just regularly approve it. Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement with the county for VPN services.
I'll second it.
Jill, did you get?
Yeah.
Moved and seconded. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Question,
Questions, yeah.
Question,
I do.
go ahead.
Are you issued new passwords and keys annually? Or do you keep the same ones?
I think the police officers get new ones. And I don't know if they do.
Okay, and the second question that you probably don't know too, maybe we should look into, what happens when someone leaves?
We need to send a thing to the IT to have them on the box.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, food bank lease agreement. Open for discussion.
Jill, do you have any, or Jill or Shelley, do you have any idea when the insurance that so they did give us proof of insurance?
They have their insurance.
And did that insurance say when it was effective date was?
I think it was back.
So it was backdated to the January. And where did we leave off on this?
Well, these have been filed, these documents have been filed.
Can I ask an information question? I'm glad to see you, Nancy. We've asked what Debbie who was on the board and not ever been given an answer.
Regarding insurance,
No,
Any-
who is on the board for the food bank?
oh,
I mean, Debbie has been our only contact.
okay. Oh, it's me and Marlene and Leanne and JJ and Jackie.
Okay,
So
and it's just the board for this local
Yes.
Toledo food bank. Okay. Thank you. Pardon?
Okay, if they're gonna speak out there, they need to come up so we can get on the. You can't hear them on the TV.
So what is Debbie's title with the food bank? Can I ask that question?
She's a board member.
We'll have to have her move up.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Do you mind so that we can hear you? I'm sorry.
So Debbie's the person listed on this nonprofit document.
Okay, Debbie is a board member. Marlene is the president. I'm a board member.
So,
Debbie is listed as that, and that's who we've been contacting, is listed on the,
Are you sending her mail?
we're sending her mail, and we actually had our police department start to deliver things because everything was non-responsive.
Recently?
Since
February?
March, yes, we've been trying quite often.
Well, she
Go
hasn't been
ahead.
relaying that on to the rest of us, so we're totally in the dark, I'm afraid.
Jill?
She was like delivered something, then she had to sign it, and she was thinking that was still in the police department. And then she requested a copy of that signature and it sat on her front counter for 2 months. And she finally picked it up. She was supposed to provide us with a new mailing address. We've never received it, so we can't deliver your bill. This last Friday,
Just received the packet
Yeah.
on Friday.
yeah, we just did it, because she said that she would be back with the address and we never got it. She finally did give on Friday an address of somebody on State Route. I don't think who it is.
Is that your address? State Route 505?
1905,
So she just told us just to send it there.
You haven't received any mail?
That was just on Friday.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so we've gotten everything that's.
Yeah, when she came in.
Well, I'm sorry to say then Debbie just isn't relaying messages.
We did numerous contacts.
I did a spot check walkthrough and I found moldy food in the refrigerator. I found a tenderloin that had been marinated after the fact that's 2.5 years old.
Was that just recently?
I just last week.
Oh,
I mean, I think there's a lot of food back there that is not, it's just sitting.
Aisleways that you can't walk through.
I know. We had that all cleaned up and then I got called away for a month and when I came back, it was full. But we're working on cleaning it out again.
How many loads a week are you getting?
How many loads?
How many loads a week?
Maybe
I-
10.
I heard 2 pickup loads a week. Is that,
No, that's not at all true.
I just heard
That's
that.
why they're here.
I'm just trying to
No,
verify.
she's down to maybe 1 pickup load per month at this point. You can see the food is going down
How many hours do you guys work a month?
a lot. Because when the product comes in, we have to unload, put everything on the shelves.
For distribution to the public, how many hours are you open? Like
Can't say.
2 or 4 hours? That's what I've heard.
What we're open, we start at 8 o'clock in the morning and we're till at least 2 when the customer, the clientele come. And we've had, well, it was about 35 Friday.
Okay,
And it's open on 2 Fridays a month for 2 hours,
From 10 to 1.
4, okay, 10 to 1, thank you.
is those set hours, I mean, is that a good time for people to pick up stuff or
Yes.
should they be later hours or earlier hours or what's your
No,
feeling?
10 to 1 works just fine.
Okay,
Nobody's had any disagreements or wanted to change it.
okay,
that we're aware of.
because I heard 2 hours twice a month, and so that's a non-factor. If you're open 4 hours and twice a month. And you're getting 1 load a month, how big is the load, like a full size pickup load a month? Roughly,
It's roughly 2 pallets worth of food.
okay,
Not a lot, not like we used to get.
okay,
So you service the community here in Toledo out of this food bank on Friday afternoon?
Yes, the 2nd and 4th Fridays of the month.
I know of several people who have stopped giving money to the food bank because their checks have not been cashed for the last year.
Well, I don't know anything about that, Marlene. What? Do you know anything about checks not being cashed?
I don't know anything.
We do have a local bank here in town, right?
Yes.
That they've stopped giving money to the bank because the checks have not been cashed.
No,
Sorry to hear.
that I don't know.
Mhm.
The Debbie takes care of it.
Yeah,
Are they mailed in or dropped
no,
off?
they're dropped off, they're hand delivered to Debbie, and then they're not cashed.
And when is this going to come?
We'll have to look into that. How recently was that? Do you know?
Oh, well, I
Just
don't,
over time.
it's overtime, it's several, more than 5 people over the course of,
That's not good.
no, it's not good, it's, it's not good. So it's
We've been working on this for a year,
more than a year.
More than a year.
so over the course of a year,
Mhm.
I would say.
Actions speak louder than words sometimes.
It was a great meeting in March. I was there, but the problem is after that meeting, absolutely nothing happened. And
Well, we understood that you were going to hire an electrician to look into the wiring. And then we never heard anything. And in the meantime, we cleaned up.
Kind of. I'm assuming that you got our documents from our lawyer. Is
Yes,
that why
we
you're here?
did.
Okay.
And we assumed your reason for going in the back was for your stuff, not to go through our stuff.
Well, I believe it's my job as city
Part of our
council member
contract.
to, to ensure that. I didn't go through a lot. I looked at one or two things and was satisfied that it's not good back there.
But it's part of our contract that we have entry to check and inspect the premises.
Okay.
It
One
is
other
part of
thing
our
I'd like to
contract.
bring up is when this door is locked, we have one exit. If there is a fire, it's a hazard,
And when does your board meet?
twice a week.
Twice a year. And when is your next board meeting?
September, not positive of the date.
And your last meeting then would have been like 6 months ago,
February.
February.
So that's what resulted in the March meeting. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. So this is
I'm not of a mind to change anything.
neither.
And what's the last statement say? What was the last request?
Oh, on the timeline, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
15 days to clean up and,
I have to find it. I don't have it up anymore.
June 2nd, the letter was sent out, delinquency and filing status. We did actually get the filing. A reminder about the lease terminating and a request for, oh no, wait. Oh, we got no response on that. And I'm having trouble reading this. Oh, and I guess the insurance. No, I know, we're just having trouble understanding the layout. That's September. And a letter saying that we wanted to rework on the lease that went out July 31st. And we got no response on that. And that's what caused us to
Michelle
take
is
the action
going-
we did.
Michelle is going to work on rewriting the lease.
That's what we reached out to try to talk about rewriting the lease and again, had no response.
I'm terribly sorry. But we got no information.
It's kind of where we're stuck at when the document says that the certain person is your. Is the I don't know what the right words are for that, contact for the 501c3. So what it is, and then when we can't reach that contact, then we're kind of stuck.
I see your dilemma.
I mean, it's pretty bad when we have to have our police officer basically the equivalent of take a warrant out to try to contact.
We should have had more communication and let you know who was on the board, I suppose.
And the only contact we knew was Debbie, and she would not give us the names of the people on the board.
You tried to reach out, did you not? You
Pardon?
tried to reach out personally, right?
Yes. Yes,
I'm
and
sorry.
unfortunately, it's resulted in this latest paperwork,
so do they have a time limit to fix this?
15 days,
15 days from what?
August 12th.
August 12th?
To fix.
So Nancy, is that possible to get some fixing done before the end of this is up? The
It's
15th?
in that,
Get
it's
it
in
cleaned
the
up, certainly.
paperwork, the new stuff.
What needs to be done, Eric?
I'm not completely on
Shelley?
top of this.
Anything?
Well, if there's food in there that is molded and rotted, it needs to be cleaned up. There needs to be more than just a walkway to get around and get through things. But I mean, these documents, though, state that, I mean, they have that amount of time to clean everything up, but even at that, it states in here that the lease agreement will not be renewed as of, it's giving you the more than 90-day notice that it will not be renewed at the beginning of the year for 2023. So it states in here, I'm sure that you read it, what it talks about you not being in compliance with. First of all, the bill that you talked about that you just got. So, right, yep. And so, I mean, so you're aware of that now.
Well, it was paid that day.
So.
Right.
And then it talks about the accumulation of trash, rubbish. I mean, spoiled food, remains, and things that are stacked up on the premises that don't belong there, like the table and chairs and I mean,
Well, we use the table on Fridays to put goods on so people
Oh.
can help themselves. And it's too heavy for
okay,
two of us to pack in and out.
I was sitting outside too.
I know
Yeah,
it's a
that's why it's there.
eyesore, but
okay,
it's not just.
got it,
garbage.
got it.
And the insurance is current, has been current. The licensing is current. I don't know what happened there.
Well, it seems like it just was let lapse and the paperwork wasn't filed. And so it is now current, but it was not for a long period of time.
Debbie told me that there was some mix up between what she turned in and what the state requested. So I don't know what happened there. I just know it's clean now.
Right, it is now. It is filed now and current as of, I don't know, a couple months ago.
June, I think
Yeah.
it's June.
It is as of a couple months ago. So I would say that it needs to be cleaned up, the garbage and the rotted stuff and the moldy stuff and the stuff that you're not going to be able to use to service the public or to hand out needs to be gotten rid of and just needs to be cleaned up. And then within the 15-day period, and then it still states in here that we're not renewing the lease as of the end of the year. So
And that includes outdated canned goods? Anything packaged?
Well, Debbie
What's-
states that a lot of times we do get outdated food from the state. Which I witnessed.
Do you have guidelines on how outdated is too outdated?
Well,
I
Eric,
think they say,
on Nancy's defense, I've saw where people pass away. And their food storage is all brought up here to the food bank. And some of it's really old, but they're canned goods they've had for years, everybody canned back in the day, that's they stored their food. So on her defense, some of that stuff's really old and they should possibly go through
we
them
do go
quicker.
through it, and when I'm here, I do take it directly to the
But
dumpster.
also on her defense, on the electrical, I didn't recall putting in walk-in coolers with.
I
plug-in.
recall that being discussed, but then like the group came together, it vaporized again. And there was no communication or nobody to work with to even.
but we did do some work in there after that meeting, if I recall. We did do some work with something electrical, replacing something, and we did some work in their bathroom and somewhere else. There was work that was done in there after that
Bathroom-
meeting. The
Bathroom had a leak.
bathroom.
Mike fixed put new plywood and stuff in the bathroom.
So I do know that there was some work that was talked about that did get done.
Yes,
And I do know that you have guidelines, like if something's outdated, it's good for a certain period of time, I think. But I don't know what those regulations are, but I know that some of it is considered still usable after a period of time, but I still am gonna just be sitting right where I am, and I know that it's miscommunication and your board doesn't meet very often, and I don't know if that's maybe not super helpful for you, but
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
I don't think we do.
so right now it stands,
Jill, do we need a motion on anything? Do we have something on here that we need to accomplish, or we were just gonna discuss it? Okay.
so right now as it stands, the food bank will be no longer at the end of the year.
Well, that was what I believe in our last discussion on our meeting about this. We already made decisions and voted on motions that were made in this to move forward in this way. So
My only regret is it's not empty now, so we can give it to a group of people who are really motoring and motivated and local. And communicative. That's,
And to answer your question, if it's not up to what their papers say in 15 days,
Then what?
they're gone
it's eviction.
at their expense, and it's to be left in the same way they found it.
Did you hear that?
I feel it took us a year and a half to get to this. It's not like we just all of a sudden were in a bad mood and decided to give the boot. It's really a lot of trying.
Mhm. I mean, we had Sean Fox's sister come, and my father-in-law just saw Sean Fox a month ago, and so I feel like the people who started this here I don't know, would not like to see where it's at right now, So,
I'd like to make a personal comment of knowledge about the Debbie's not responding. Our church for a few years has monthly given close to somewhere near $100. It's just part of our budget. It's part of the program, hunger program in our church. But when the checks never got cashed, we had to find another way. And the treasurer finally started taking that monthly check to the bank and putting it into the account. And I've tried personally to talk with Debbie, and it just seemed to get away from her. And it's really sad.
It is sad.
It is sad, and
The bosses worked really hard to get this up and running.
but it can't be, it cannot remain in the state it's in at all.
Any other comments? So do I accept a motion on this lease agreement? We already did that.
It's all written.
It's all written
As
down.
a result of the, yeah,
So it's just on unfinished business to discuss.
just to discuss.
Okay,
I
anything
do-
else?
I have something to add to their other business once we get there.
Other business?
Is that where we are?
Well, I got some unfinished business I
Okay.
need to take care of.
Okay.
My unfinished business is a contract with Winlock. I talked to the lawyer and he said to bring it up before you guys tonight. And I'm gonna make it well known that I'm gonna veto this contract. I don't like anything about it. And you guys can override me. It's gonna take 4 out of 5 of you to outvote my veto. Because I feel we're paying Winlock way too much money for 80 hours of service that we're never gonna get a week. And the cost is astronomical, it's over $8,000 a month. Just for that, so we're paying for all their services. And I don't have to explain myself, the lawyer said just veto it and see what the council says. Do you wanna vote on it? Do you wanna discuss it? Do you have questions?
Where did you get the $8,000 from?
But it's $8,000. It's 4 weeks at 1920 a month, or a week is 8,000.
Right here off of Eric's spreadsheet. $8,342.86. For services that we will never see 80 hours a week.
I've seen.
Eric, I know what you're saying. You told me already.
Okay.
But out of your same mouth, you also said that we were charged the overtime of $24, which you overcall responsive to minimum, 2 hours minimum was $36 an hour. That's untrue. On call out time, it's $118. You told me yourself on my porch that, yeah, the Winlock's giving us a discount of $30 an hour. That's a call out, 2 hours, $118, $236 for 2 hours of call time.
114 and it should be 144. They actually cut us, it's 2 officers, 2 hours, time and a half is $144. And they put 114. I tried to correct it with the mayor of Winlock, and he said it's fine the way it is.
It's still less than $17,900 a month to Napa Vine. By half.
I don't have a car.
And Eric, I would like to hear what you were going to say, please.
Sorry.
I've seen Winlock here multiple times a day, every day. The mayor has called me 3 times to ask, he called me this morning to check in to see how things are going. There was gas getting siphoned out of the school district's van at 9:15 in the morning on Friday. Winlock was here in under an hour. And I saw him in Donna's place reviewing footage of Donna's camera, the camera system to try to find the person and was going to do a drive around. I was told by the Groves that they saw them driving down around the sewer plant, doing a lap around there. And I think Kathy and Tom and I saw them driving down, yeah, actually multiple occasions. I mean, they are in town. They're making their presence. There are people who have told me they saw them having people pulled over on 505 writing tickets. That I am actually sleeping better.
Right now, we don't have a chief. He's under a psych and evaluation.
That's happening
That's 2 weeks.
this weekend, next week.
And then we got the posting out for 3 weeks for chief. Is that correct?
Till the 26th.
Has there been any signups for the posting? How many?
3.
3?
Sounds like we need to do interviews.
Yeah, as well. A lot of them are South Carolina, Florida, and Virginia.
So we're gonna have to do a Zoom. Okay.
I just think of the proposal we have out now is you raise the price for the chief to 75,000 and for patrol is 0. We have no patrol. Whereas before, we were 65,000 with 2 officers. And the other one was 65,000 and 52,000 for patrol. And we managed we kept our head above water.
And if we
Now we got one officer that we don't have on staff yet, not for another 2 weeks.
if we would have even temporarily hired Dwayne when he was presented to us while Logan was still working here, we would still have Logan and we would be in a better position.
I think there are a lot of ifs and whens in this whole thing. I think that if Sam would have done this, then we could have done this. But if we were presented with this, we could have done this.
So rather than judge, what are you suggesting?
Well, I'm suggesting that we can save money where we can, and use that to save more money, when and where we can. And how we do that, I don't know. I'm not a good money person and I'm trying to be. I'm gonna go back. I'm not a good money person on the fly. I have to go back home and really spend some quality time. I can't say, oh, think about this number right now, because I have,
This Winlock coverage is
But-
go ahead.
this does seem, when I see 144 versus 114, and you tell me that, Winlock is, I like the idea of Winlock being able to come right across the freeway versus, down, over, down, and, and they have all the cars, and the time drive, ding, 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 so I think unfortunately it's a bit of waiting and that's uncomfortable, and that's just me.
But we do have to do the process.
Yeah, but we do have to do the process and that is the responsible thing to do.
When we made it work before with Winlock, they had 4 officers total. Now we have two.
But
And
it's,
I don't know how they're gonna patrol Winlock, which has more crime and stuff and more population than we do. What's their priority gonna be?
Their priority, as it has to be, will be to their citizens. It has to be. It would have been for Napa Vine. It should have been for us when we were, and I assume it was. But actually, the priority is depending on the call. Chief Valentine's exact words at the council meeting when his council asked that same question was, if I have 8 barking dog complaints and somebody at gunpoint, that's the one I'm going to. It doesn't matter what city it is. And then the question was asked, well, what if you're at a call in Toledo and something comes up in Winlock? And he said, that would be the same thing as if I were at a call in Winlock. We have support. The county would be here, the other cities, so Napa Vine would be here as well. So that is kind of, and it would be the same for us if we had, we only really ever had one officer on duty. I think this is a temporary thing. And the nice thing about the temporary thing is we're learning about the relationship. It's temporary, and we're learning about the relationship with Winlock because we were kind of talking about, when we have one chief that leaves us 8.7 days of weekend time, quote unquote, a month. And quite possibly this could be changed to have them support us so that we can give our lone officer chief actual time off and not be on call 24/7 by 30.
So my other figure I have here is a 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week adds up to 168 hours. If we get the 80 hours from Winlock, that's a big if. And plus the 50 hours for the chief, that's 130. So there's 38 hours a week not paid or covered.
The chief will be working 5 days a week, on call 24 hours a day.
But he doesn't get paid overtime
He
or
doesn't.
comp time.
He doesn't. Then we raised his pay to support that. We've seen that. You and I talked about the problem we have with overtime and comp time. And it's cost us a lot of money on the people that have left. So it looks like we've got people responding to the ad, and it's very clear in there. It's not an overtime comp time job. The thought is it's a 40-hour job with 10 hours of flexible time that we expect. So that should cover your 2 a.m. calls, or maybe he's working at 2 a.m. because he should be, right? That's the whole idea with the police forces is you don't know when they are, where they are. And so, maybe it'll stop people second guess.
I just don't like the 38 hours a week not paid. Not having anybody out there. And my figures come up to $22,150 a month. You said that was
Don't
different.
understand how that,
I got the 16,288 and the 588 from the 38 hours a week not paid at overtime. That's how I got the 22,000. And you said it was 19,000? What's your
it's
figure?
$1,920 a week fixed,
Which is over 8,000 a month,
fixed, yes.
fixed, 1920 per week, 8342 per month.
As a temporary solution, yes, where Napa Vine was 17,500, $75,000 worth of cars, and no promise that it wouldn't be raised right now had we signed it.
and no promise of hours for
And no
coverage.
promise of any coverage.
No
No
hours
pro-
promised.
No promise of coverage.
No hours. They
there
weren't
was-
giving us that, remember, they were not giving us any commitment to a certain number of hours per month.
They would respond to our 911 calls is the only hard commitment they made.
Yes.
They wouldn't even commit to how many employees they would hire. That was
It was a
also,
verbal
They had
promise.
4 and they were planning on 6.
that was verbal.
Depending on us, on what our city went with that one.
And
It
that's,
was-
But I was under the understanding John would have 2 guys here 24/7.
Oh,
no,
no,
No
Never
comp
said
time, no overtime.
no way.
never said that.
Never said that.
And it wasn't in the contract.
Even when they were willing to go negotiate it with us while we had police officers, that's not what they were promising.
Okay,
If they'd have been promising that, it would have been very different, honestly. Because I could see a deal working with another city, kind of like hopefully what we're creating, where you have a home base officer who is here. And then you have help from abroad. And I could see how a South Lewis County thing could work like that. If each of the cities had their own minimal police force and then we had a shared larger police force. That's a very interesting idea. But having your police based, what is it, 12, 13, 14 miles away is tough.
And right now, this association with Winlock, out of necessity, is for 2 weeks, and the present one, 2 weeks, when hopefully our interim will be.
We give them 10 days notice when we're ready to be done with it. And so
Okay.
that'll most likely be a conversation. That'll probably most likely be the day we sign our,
Interim.
I'm not sure about the interim. Might be. We can't overlap them both for very long, right?
No,
Because,
and if there are applicants that have applied,
yes,
we need to be looking at those now.
absolutely.
That's why they said another week, Kathy.
Pardon?
3 weeks for the sign up, another week for interrogation or whatever, not interrogation, but questions and answers. Sometimes interrogation, depends on the crowd to get here.
We're gonna grill.
And they have to wait for their psych poly. So the nice thing is we'll have Dwayne here with his psych poly. And if we choose
2
not to
weeks.
choose him, then we choose somebody else, but he's here supporting us through the end of the process.
Speaking of, I thought we had determined that we could use his previous in the interim.
CJTC they are monthly putting out new requirements to tighten things up. The state of Washington does not want police officers.
Maybe
I
just
said that on
needs to
camera.
change.
I said that on camera. They are making it harder and harder. It used to be that if your psych poly was 2 years old, then that was fine. Then 6 months. Now there's no exception. It used to be that you could make a contingent offer and they could start work while they waited for this. That's now gone. They've added a physical fitness test, which is fine. I think it should be.
I concur.
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay.
I respect your decision to do that, Mayor. If you would like to veto it, then we can.
You guys can override it if you want. You wanna vote on it now or what?
Well, are you vetoing it? I think you need to make that.
I did, I made it public. I
Okay.
vetoed it. I don't like it at all.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we countermand your veto.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, any more discussion?
That we override the veto.
So let's have a show of hands, we need 4 out of 5. Okay,
It's unanimous.
unanimous. Any other business? Eric?
I would like to use this opportunity to bring up a suggestion that one of the things I've noticed from both Napavine and Winlock's council meetings is that, like our departments and the mayor have an agenda item slated, that the council members all have an agenda item slated, so that at the beginning of each council meeting, we have an opportunity to talk about the various groups that we're interacting with, the projects we're working on. That along with the better internet in here, right? So that we can actually have YouTubes that don't go silent for the most important 25 minutes. As an attempt to try to be more open. So I was hoping to get all of your feedback, and maybe, I don't know if we need to make a motion on that or if we just do it as a process item.
You can just do it.
I think we just do it as a process. Yeah.
Can we do nothing new to report?
Absolutely. And that was the case. There was definitely some of each.
Well, I think, that the Bluegrass Festival went well. I could hear it from my house. And lots of people walking their dogs, lots of people, pedestrians in town. So it seemed like it was a hit. Along those lines, I would like to remind everyone who lives in town to please keep your dogs on a leash. And contain your dogs.
They're not defecating.
Yeah, dogs in town need to be on a leash and in your yard. Friendly reminder.
Speaking of that, did anybody take action on the dog down at that one street that lady complained about? We have nobody to address that, right? Just send them a letter? Nothing we can do?
Is this
So-
Debbie?
So going over to the neighbors, they're not on leash. So they are.
If you call the emergency line, what they're gonna say is we have proof. And it has to be video proof.
And she has video proof.
It has to be. Video.
Not yet. That's right. That's her next step.
Okay. And then she-
That's what she
Or
needs.
An officer has to see it happen. Her landlord is installing cameras.
So we might have some.
So one of the things I'm working on, since we're doing what we're working on, is along also, I forgot about this, along the lines of more transparency, is to add to our new website something, I'm gonna call it a blog, but something similar along the lines of a blog there on the front page that is just what we're currently working on as a city. So I noticed that Napa Vine is very transparent. Our entire packet that we get for this meeting is out to the public. The things we're working on next week are out to the public. What the planning commission is working on is out to the public. So the thought is we start to do that as well. And then we can take that blog and we'll have an RSS feed from it that we can then give to Brandy Devine. And she can put it up on her Toledo thing, and then all the chatter can happen there, because we can't do the chatter on our website, but she can manage that herself. And that'll hopefully give more people some transparency into what we're working on. We do have a lot coming with planning and permitting.
I think that's a great idea, Eric.
Is there any other business?
Yeah, I have three things. So one of them is, I had this thought last meeting, is that, do we have any disclaimers on our documents that citizens come and fill out, like permitting and all that kind of stuff? Because, for instance, the issue with having to refund somebody because they were given the wrong information, we're not all experts and people are responsible for getting their own expertise. So if we have disclaimers on the documents and we post disclaimers in the office, that puts people on notice that it's their responsibility, it's not ours. And we don't have to then be refunding people money when they should have done their own homework. So that was number one. I take my first anti-harassment workshop. And what I was kind of disappointed in, and it's a very good, it's very informative, and I've taken them before. But first, I think they should be done annually. And second, we're not doing it as a group. So there's no discussion, there's no feedback, there's no, this is what I learned from that. And I think that would be helpful. And number three, I did notice that different people are signing the checks. And is there a difference between who's issuing the checks and who's signing the checks?
And no, we try, when I process the check, I try to have somebody else, either Shelley, Devin, or the mayor, both sign the checks. So it's not me doing both. So there's another set of eyes. And
Yes.
if they are not available, then I will do it.
Okay,
Please try not to have. If somebody is writing the check, somebody else is trying to sign it.
exactly. Well, that's. So basically, there is no stopgap then because you are a signatory. So if you wrote a check, you can actually sign it.
I think
And to me,
that's why
that's
you guys review everything as well at the first meeting. so we can see what I potentially find for something else.
Right. Right, and I bring that up because Napabine's treasurer decided to abscond with their funds, and that's, there needs to be stopgap measures to make sure their previous, yeah.
Not their current one.
No, not their current one, no, no, no. No, I didn't, no, never, but he, I didn't know that.
So those are my thoughts. Oh, and your little, 2022 currents. These worksheets, you did those, right?
Oh, yeah, the
Like street expenses, et cetera. Could you include a 13th column for year to date? Because these are month by month, correct?
yeah, well, there is a year to date.
There is. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Check that off your list.
It's transparency.
I know myself.
Any other business? Well, entertain a motion to adjourn. Public input? None? So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Here a second,
A second.
moved in second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,